Hey, what's up? I'm Mr. Honish and welcome to my flipped classroom. Coming to you today from the conference room because the janitors are cleaning mine. Today we continue looking at Europe by breaking down the west central region of the continent and the countries of France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. We could talk about the micronations of Andorra, Liechtenstein, and Monaco, but frankly we just don't have the time. Per usual, we'll start with the physical geography, and that might take a little while for this region because despite its relatively small land area, there is plenty of variety when it comes to the landscape and climates. So let's get going! Stretching across the northern reaches of western central Europe is a relatively flat, low elevation area called the Northern European Plain. This is the best farmland in the region by far, so it should be no surprise that many of the largest and oldest cities can be found here, and there's a very large population since food has always been plentiful. The Northern European Plain is not without its challenges though, because some places are actually below sea level, including much of the Netherlands. So dikes, dams, and levees must be constructed to hold back the waters of the North Sea. Not surprisingly, global climate change has been a real concern for the Dutch since, rising global sea levels threaten to obliterate their country. Along the French-Swiss border and into southern Germany, there is much less reason to fear rising sea levels because they are at a higher elevation in what is known as the central uplands. These uplands are too rocky to farm effectively, but have a ridiculous amount of coal and other resources that can be mined and have been important to the establishment of industrial growth. The central uplands are also where the Danube River begins. The Danube is the second largest and arguably the most important waterway in all of Europe. It is a navigable river that passes through or along 10 different countries and 5 capital cities. The Danube and other rivers in the region flow fast enough to provide significant amounts of hydroelectric power as well. If we continue further south from the central uplands, we would go higher in elevation into the Alps, which were already mentioned briefly when talking about southern Europe. These mountains dominate the landscape of Switzerland and Austria and bring in major tourism for hiking and skiing. Even though it's not very good farmland, the valleys of the Alps have a lot of good grazing areas, so livestock are raised effectively here, and the dairy industry is quite successful as well. With such a variety in landscapes, it's probably not surprising that there are several different climates in this region as well. An obvious one is the highland climate in the Alps that remains cold due to the elevation. The Northern European Plain mostly experiences a marine west coast climate due to warm currents coming off the Atlantic Ocean, English Channel, and North Sea. This creates plenty of rainfall and keeps temperatures fairly mild, also adding to the success of farming there. Meanwhile, southern France is along the Mediterranean Sea, and their dry, hot summers and mild winters are similar to neighbors Spain and Italy. Now that we have a broad idea of the physical geography, let's look closer at what humans have done with the place, shall we? Before you can understand the culture, populations, governments, and economies of the region, you have to understand one simple thing. Germany and France are neighbors, but they are incredibly different and don't like each other very much. Meanwhile, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg are small and sandwiched in between them. Austria is like Diet Germany with more mountains, and Switzerland has always just done their own thing. But let's look at France and Germany closer first. Back in the day, which was like the 1500s through the 1700s, France was rocking it as one of the richest, most powerful countries in the world. They had a monarchy and colonies, and their rival was the British, who were also super rich and had a monarchy and colonies. They fought each other a bunch of times, and most notably for us in the United States, that included fighting over colonies in North America in the late 1700s. Now, based on the language I am speaking while narrating these videos, you might be able to guess who came out on top for the most part in North America. Hint. Well, France looked like it was falling apart after this, so they looked at what we Americans did in overthrowing the British and setting up a democracy, and they were like, Sacre bleu, vivons à tout! So they had a really long, really messy revolution to get rid of the king and set up democracy, but a short dude named Napoleon Bonaparte, not dynamite, came to power, and the whole democracy thing was effectively over as he gallivanted throughout Europe, including reorganizing a bunch of territory in present-day Germany, which really ticked them off, and taking a bunch of territory until he invaded Russia in winter, which is always a bad idea. and eventually lost all his newly gained territory and got kicked out of power. So France is down on its luck in the mid-1800s, just as Germany is rising as a strong, united country. Germany took a page out of the France playbook, and when they felt wealthy and strong enough, started a world war, including an invasion of France. Well, eventually the French and their allies, including us, won that war, said, "Naughty, naughty Germany, we will make you pay impossible amounts of money for this war, which will definitely tick you off enough to bring some right-wing whack job into power and start another world war." Which happened. And wouldn't you know it, Germany invaded France again, even though France had this thing called the Maginot Line, which was supposed to make it impossible for Germany to invade, except it was basically just this big trench with some guns that the Germans crushed with their tanks and planes in 3 minutes. And once again, France and their allies, including us, won that war, but this time we said, "It's okay, Germany, we won't take your money, but we're going to split you into 2 countries, and one will be communist and one will be capitalist." So Germany had learned their lesson, and in the new Cold War, West Germany and France were supposed to be friends and go against East Germany and their Soviet overlords. Culturally though, imagine you live in West Germany. Who do you have a closer bond with? This is a reenactment. When I face this way, I'm German. When I face this way, I'm French. Okay? Okay, so these are my options. East Germany, where they speak the same language and eat the same foods and have the same appreciation for industry and saving the monies. Or the Frenchies over there, eating cheese and drinking wine, painting pictures and sticking their noses up at us. Sacre bleu! How are we supposed to trust those dirty, dirty Germans and their outrageous tendency to invade us? I burst my pimples in their general direction. No way you are better than us. Joie de vivre, aka enjoyment of life. Hard work and efficiency, yeah. Baguettes, sausage, wine, beer, a beautiful romantic language. Our beautifully romantic, who am I kidding? That was probably a gross simplification of their differences in culture, and I'm pretty sure my last German accent turned a little Russian at the very end. But there really is some truth behind it, and there are clear differences in the governments and economies those cultures have produced over time. France is largely Catholic, whereas much of northern Germany broke away from Catholicism and became Protestant, although it should be noted that Western Europe as a whole is becoming less and less religious over time. The French economy has struggled lately with rising unemployment, largely due to massive retirement benefits and vacation time they have typically given their workers, while the German economy continues to grow due to its efficiency, innovation, and thriftiness. France and Germany both have significant immigrant populations, but France has looked down upon their immigrants and racist tensions have flared, while the immigrants in Germany have had an easier time assimilating. You know, it's not often that the lexicon of 13-year-olds is helpful in geopolitical issues, but France and Germany are total frenemies, and they've been frenemies for 70 years now. France and Germany are two of the largest and most influential players in the European Union and remain at the forefront of the world economy, which makes it an interesting and unique dynamic. And don't forget poor Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg in the middle. They've literally and figuratively been in the middle of all the conflict between France and Germany, and now they are firmly partnered with them both in the European Union for better or worse. These small countries have actually taken leading roles in the world despite their small size. They have powerful economies. Brussels, Belgium is where the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization are headquartered. The Hague in the Netherlands is home to the International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court. And really don't forget Austria and Switzerland. Austria has lots of shared culture with Germany, including language and religion, but its most glorious era is likely past. For hundreds of years, Austria was the center of the Holy Roman Empire and later the Austro-Hungarian Empire, putting it at the forefront of European power. Today, it's just another small, economically successful country trying to mind its own business and cooperate with its neighbors. Neighboring Switzerland doesn't like to formally cooperate with anyone, but they also don't get into conflicts. Historically, they are among the most neutral countries in the world and have done a very good job of remaining on good terms with everyone in Europe, including storing Nazi gold in their banks during World War II. while also staying out of their international organizations like the European Union. So that's a basic breakdown of West Central Europe, a wealthy region with two world powers that officially like each other, except probably not really. Some small countries that are along for the ride and closely tied to their larger neighbors, and the fiercely neutral Swiss. That's all I have for now, so go study, and until next time, bye-bye! You know, it's not often that the lexicon of 13-year-olds is helpful in geopolitical issues.
Your
but
hands look awkward. Sorry. Okay, that looks better.
Okay, so these are my options. East Germany, where they speak the same language and eat the same foods and have the same appreciation for organization, industry, and this sounds more French than German. I need to work on my accent before starting this. Hold on. German! They sound so mean! All the time! Oh, that got French at the end. All the time! That was French. German. They sound so mean. Yeah, okay. So they speak the same language and eat the same foods and have the same appreciation for organization.
Here's German.
Okay, so diese allerlei Options.
So that's literally putting it in German. And the whole democracy thing was effectively over as he gallivanted throughout Europe, including reorganizing a bunch of territory, calling Jalen on the phone, being like, hey, what's up? What you gonna do this afternoon? Oh, I'm gonna hang out? Oh, cool.
Are you done?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready once he's done eating a barbecue lay.
They
And once Zoe and Max are done flirting.
That wasn't Zoe and Max.
Oh, well.